Also trending today across the pond, the United Kingdom marked 1 year since the death of Queen Elizabeth II and the ascension of King Charles III. 1 year on, Charles will be looking to have as much of an impact as the late Queen, though in a significantly shorter amount of time. Britain marking the first anniversary of the death of Queen Elizabeth today. Queen Elizabeth died aged 96 at her Balmoral Castle home in Scotland, prompting national and global mourning at the end of a 70-year reign.
In marking the first anniversary of Her late Majesty's death and my accession, we recall with great affection her long life, devoted service, and all she meant to so many of us. I am deeply grateful, too, for the love and support that has been shown to my wife and myself during this year, as we do our utmost to be of service to you all.
The death of the monarch ushering in a new era with King Charles. Charles had waited longer than any other heir in British history to become king. His first year was dominated by his coronation in May in a grand ceremony at London's Westminster Abbey, watched by a global audience. Charles's popularity surged after his accession, but recent surveys suggest it has returned to previous levels, below those of his mother. The family feud with his younger son, Prince Harry, and his wife, Meghan, possibly contributing to that. In the months after the Queen's death, there was their Netflix documentary series, Harry's Memoir, and TV interviews in which his son repeatedly attacked his family and Buckingham Palace, accusing them of collusion in negative media reporting. On the streets of London today, passers-by shared their views on Charles's first year as king.
I think he's done quite well, actually. He's kept out of the controversy, which has been difficult for him, I think.
I think he's doing okay. You know, he'll get better as time goes. Yeah, this is his first time, so we need to give him a chance.
I mean, it's obviously big shoes to fill, but I think he's an amazing. I think he has the potential to really lead the monarchy in a good way, kind of bring the family together.
Time will tell if King Charles makes as much of an impact as his mother. Joining us now is Patricia Treble, royal contributor and founder of the Right Royalty newsletter on Substack. So, Patricia, how has King Charles done in his first year of rule?
I'm going to be honest, I think the first year of his reign was pretty good. No huge flaws. It was really steady as you go. I mean, let's face it, when you're coming right after a monarch who's been on the throne for 70 years, beloved around the world, shaking it all up, probably not on the agenda. And certainly not for him. Let's face it, he has been training for this his entire life. So he wanted to make sure it was a good start. And so we saw really him continuing a lot of the things that the Queen has always done. As you know, he's in Scotland right now. The Queen was always there all summer. But he did change some things. So if you remember back to the coronation in the spring, yes, ancient, yes, lots of historic crowns and, historic robes and stuff like that. But he made it his own. So he modernized it. He shortened it, made it as multi-ethnic as you can for a religious service. And he also, he's an environmentalist. So he reused a lot of the robes, the really priceless objects that his grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandmother used. And so that's the sort of thing that he's taken to his own. Another thing we've got is these small little things. I like the Queen, very formal generation the Queen was from. He brought up in the 60s. So he plunges into crowds. That has not changed since he's become monarch. He will pull a pint. He will eat his way through a market if he's there. And he's happy to engage with a crowd in a way that is much more informal, I would say, than his mother. And so it's just those small little markers that he's setting down for his reign.
And of course, there was obviously the family drama with Prince Harry and Meghan over the last year. Do you think that took away from the king's first year a little bit?
it couldn't help but have taken away from the king's first year. I mean, think about it. I mean, since he acceded to the throne, since the death of the late queen, we've had 6 hours of Netflix. We've had Harry's memoir, which was scathing in his depictions of Camilla and William, although Charles actually got a bit of a pass on that. It was quite noticeable, and all the interviews. And it's kind of at this doubling down. I mean, I have to wonder if now that they basically kind of retrenched. I mean, they don't have the podcast anymore. They're trying to figure out what to do with Netflix. Hopefully, not doing as many royal themed projects. Whether time can be the great healer, but certainly, yeah, there is a complete rift. Lots of negative headlines, and it couldn't help but have affected his reign. But you know what? I think that the king has simply decided it is a personal family matter. They're not going to comment. That's the way they've been doing it since even when the queen was head of state. And that is the way, I think, the way they're going to continue, and probably the right way, given how much angst there is about this.
Definitely. Thanks so much for joining us, Patricia.
I'm more than welcome.